Hey, it's Kamori, and today I'm going to be doing a pattern review. This was my first time ordering a pattern off of Etsy, and I'm going to be using the Circus Seal plushie, a digital pattern from Dollphinwing, to make a Popplio plushie to act as a prop for my Pokemon Moon Trainer cosplay. So let's get started. I started by printing out the pattern at 100% size, and it was still a little bit smaller than I had in mind for this particular project, so my husband helped me use Adobe Acrobat Reader to enlarge the pattern. So this is the size I'm going to be using. It's at 200% to make my plushie. Taped all of the pattern pieces together, and before I cut them out, I used a clear ruler to add a seam allowance around the edge. This is a little bit different from the pattern instructions. The pattern instructions suggested just drawing the seam allowance onto the fabric. However, for this project, instead of the recommended minky fabric, I'm using some fleece since I had that left over from making all of the Mawaru penguin drum penguins. So I'm going to be deviating from the instructions included with the pattern a little bit in that manner. So now the pattern pieces have been cut out and all of the fabric has been cut, it's time to move on to sewing. I'm not going to be going super in-depth step-by-step through this because this is not a commercial pattern by one of the big pattern companies, and it's also not a translation video. The instructions included are in English, and because it is an indie brand, I'm not sure how they feel about going too in-depth about the tutorial for this, so I'm going to just kind of ease back on that for this video. I started off by making the base body parts according to the instructions included with the pattern. The pattern is for a circus seal and not specifically Popplio, so I'm going to have to make a couple alterations so that it looks more like Popplio. For example, I stuffed the fins just like the pattern instructions said, but then I also added 3 lines of white stitching at the tips. Then for the head, assembled it according to the instructions, but also I made the mouth out of black thread instead of white, and also hand sewed on these little whiskers on either side of the nose. Then I sewed the fins onto either side of the body and also sewed the eyes onto the head. There was no pattern included for the eyes, so I just made one by doing a white oval for the base, then a smaller black oval for the pupil, and a smaller white oval for the little shine to make it look a bit more like an eye. A pattern for Popplio's ruff was not included with the pattern, so I just made one myself, and then I'm going to cut 2 pieces out of some light blue fleece, and we're going to sew it together all along the sides. Once it's sewn, we're going to cut a hole in the middle so that it can be turned right side out. Turn the neck ruff right side out through the hole that we cut, then going to sew it onto the base of the body. Sew the head onto the base of the body, and with that, Popplio is done. In review, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I did have to make some alterations because it is marketed as a Circus Seal pattern and it's not an officially licensed Popplio pattern, so I did have to make my own pattern for the eyes and for the ruff. Popplio ended up being a little top heavy. As you can see, he's kind of wobbly on the ironing board here, and that's probably because I sized the pattern considerably larger than it was intended to be. But I am really happy with how he turned out, and I'm excited to use little Popplio here as a prop for some upcoming Pokemon cosplays. I will put a link to the pattern I used in the description box below if you're interested in making your own Popplio. For more Pokemon tutorial videos, please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.